Hi, everybody. Welcome into today's show here on JTV. It is Monday. It's a warm kind of Monday. Windy, of course. We get nice days, but then it's 80-mile-an-hour winds, and it just ruins the whole day.
Yeah. I think we're both stuck in the Monday blues a little bit.
Well, we had a lot of sports this weekend, though. That makes up for it.
We had essentially the Super Bowl this weekend.
What?
WrestleMania was this weekend.
Oh, I didn't know that. Well, Pistons played Game 1. That was really unfortunate. What happened.
Yeah, I was.
They were the better team for the first. We'll talk about it later, but they were the better team for the first 3 quarters of the game, arguably.
Yeah, I didn't get to see this game. It took.
Well,
place,
that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, it took place during night 1 of WrestleMania, and I had a few beverages by that point. So
Just a few?
I didn't know what was going on. So I found out.
I can't say what I want to say. We're on TV, but things happen.
Yeah, I was finding out heading home that I was like, oh, yeah, the Pistons played tonight. What was the score? And I saw the score, and I was like, it's not terrible. But
well,
shout out to Uber. Shout out to all the Ubers in the world.
Lyft.
Yeah.
Rideshare.
Yep.
We had a great PGA golf tournament this weekend. Hockey playoffs started. Of course, baseball. High school spring sports continuing, of course. Lots of sports happened Friday and Saturday. Again, not a whole lot of cancellations this last week, but from the week before, everything, once all the schedule changes happen, even for one day or 1 week, it just screws up the whole thing. A lot of schedule changes, moving around due to weather, other cancellations. So MHSA.com, school's website, athletic pages on social media, Facebook, etc., for updated schedules. And I can't believe that next weekend is already the start of May.
Yeah, that's so crazy. There's something that I had going on in May, and I remember scheduling it being like, oh, that's so far out. Like, it's going to be forever till that happens. And I look at the calendar, and it's like, oh, that's a couple weeks away. That's a big problem.
Yeah. And it's 4 and change weeks until Memorial Day already.
Man.
And the week before that, we have a pretty hectic schedule here, and then Memorial Day. So that's coming right up. But baseball, a couple of undefeated teams still. And that's hard in baseball, at any level, because, it's double headers. High school, 98% of the games are double headers. You could win the first game or get blown out the set, whatever. It's not a guarantee you're going to win both games because you're the better team. That's just how it is in baseball. Yeah. So, Grass Lake baseball, 10-0. Springport, 8-0, and Lumen Christi, of course, made the state final last year. They're 8-1, so I expect them to make another run in the postseason, and maybe we'll have Lumen baseball or softball on JTV coming up.
That'd be so cool. And speaking of that, like talking about how hard it is and like how different 2 games are for a doubleheader, and we'll talk about this later, obviously, because we'll show highlights. But when we went to JC, it's like that first game, you didn't know if they were going to win. They were down by a lot early. Right. And then look at what happened in the second game. No spoilers if you didn't see it. But, like, look at what happened in that second game. So it just kind of shows you that it's like, yeah, these games are completely different at a doubleheader.
We had a few weird plays on Thursday.
Yeah.
That tag out thing that happened.
That was a weird thing where they ended up getting them out at second, but then JC thought they walked off, so they ran out into the field, and then they had to call them all back. It was interesting. It was very odd.
And then the game ended how it did.
Yeah, exactly. And then both games ended. It was just kind of like, what the heck? So, yeah funny.
High school softball, Columbia 8-0, Grass Lake 10-2. They made the quarterfinals last year. Hanover 11-2, Lumen 7-1, Springport 8-2. And then Girls soccer, Columbia 5-0-1. Leslie, Michigan Center, both 5-1. So a lot of great teams so far in multiple sports. So JTV.TV every day for the Center for Family Health scoreboard, and of course subscribe to JTV Sports and stay updated on all the wacky schedule changes and the scores and stats each day from high school games. And coming up again this week on Wednesday's show, if you missed Micah Kretzinger from J High going to the draft on the show from last Wednesday, or if you didn't get a chance to see part of it in between games from Jackson College, we'll have it again for you on Wednesday, with the draft being this coming weekend in Titletown.
Yeah, and you'll be able to watch it Thursday, the Thursday rerun. You can watch it during the draft. You can do it simulcast. You can do it at the same time.
Yeah, or you could watch it online on Friday.
That's true. You can. Hey,
Or
how about this?
Saturday.
You can watch it online right now if you want.
Wait, but they're watching us right now.
Okay, open up another tab and have that running, and just keep the audio and keep them both playing at the same time so you can have both shows going.
I don't know if I want to hear myself, let alone twice.
Well, I'm not telling you to do it, but I'm telling other people to do it.
I don't do it.
I have to do
so
that when
that's
I
okay.
edit, so.
I don't. That's all right. So, yeah, that's coming up again on Wednesday's show. So I took a screenshot of it here. We, over the weekend, I did a few NFL mock drafts with a few different teams, and I really don't know, because we don't have the NFL draft here on the rundown, but really quick here. I really don't know where Green Bay is going to go with their first-round pick, because can always use more linemen.
Yeah.
We need another edge rusher on the other side from
Receiver?
from Rashawn and a wide receiver one. Because McCole Hardman that's not the answer.
That's not a one.
But we could use a backup running back behind Josh Jacobs. So I did a mock draft here. If I can, here we go.
You did one, or you found one?
No, I did one.
Oh, okay.
So I did Mecca Buka, 23rd pick from
That's
Ohio
probably
State.
who I think you guys will go with.
I hope so. If not, I don't know. 54, so second round edge rusher from Arkansas, Landon Jackson. Cameron Scatabo from Arizona State in the third round. He's projected in the third round, by the way.
It's a good name.
Fourth round, Isaiah Bond, Texas receiver.
Fourth round?
Fourth round.
How's he?
He was available at pick 124.
Man, those AIs you're playing against, they sold.
Yeah.
They sold big time.
And then after that, Jack Kaiser, linebacker from Notre Dame. You can always use linebackers, DBs, and linemen. You can never really have enough of them, I think. Corey Brooks, wide receiver from Louisville. Nazir Stackhouse, D-tackle from Georgia. And then seventh round pick from Saginaw Valley State, linebacker, Micah Kretzinger.
There you go.
And then I decided not to do one with the Lions. I did a mock draft
Why?
with the Browns.
Oh, that's interesting.
So, second pick, Travis Hunter, of course, from Colorado. That's a no-brainer. 33rd pick, Jackson Dart, Ole Miss quarterback. They could end up with Travis Hunter. It's a chance, and Jackson Dart.
Could be ripping darts at number than the second round pick.
33 is a lot of darts.
Yeah, that's a
You
lot.
shouldn't be smoking that much per day.
No, I was talking about the player.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. 67th, Quinshawn Judkins, Ohio State running back. Isaiah Bond, 179. I did two separate drafts, so if you're wondering why I picked him.
Just big
twice.
fan of Isaiah Bond. I get it.
Jacob Gideon, offensive center from Western Michigan, because that's a Browns type pick. So, that's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
And a corner from Western Michigan. Two Western Michigan players getting drafted and to the same team. And then a D-tackle from Alabama. So they could end up with Travis Hunter and Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart's not for sure round one.
So I guess I'll ask you, since you didn't do it, but what position do you think the Lions are going to go after in the draft? So it's like we have a later pick, not super late, so it's kind of like
They have 32.
We have 32. How did we get 32?
Or not 32. I'm an idiot. 28 or 9.
Okay, it'd be something in there because since we didn't get to the championship game, so it wouldn't be like what 29 through 32, so it'd be maybe 28.
So 27
I'm
or
checking
28.
right now.
We
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm
We
checking
don't
right
know.
now. They got 28.
Okay.
What position do you think Lions go with here?
I don't know. Quarterbacks are fine. I mean, start with the skill players here. Goff, Hendon Hooker, Teddy Bridgewater. Running backs, obviously, Gibbs, Montgomery.
Yeah, as much as I like Travion Henderson, I don't think they're going to go running back, but he'll be available.
Wide receiver, obviously, you have, J-Mo, Amon-Ra, Tim Patrick, Raymond, and probably
I just don't
a
think,
few.
other than maybe offensive line, and I don't even think we need an offensive lineman. I've seen a lot of mock drafts do offensive linemen, but it's just kind of like, man, we just need help on the defense. That's clearly the problem.
Well, I think the defense is okay. I just think last year the injury bug got him.
Yeah.
I think the defense is okay. Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph.
But that just means you need depth in defense because it wasn't the offense getting hurt,
More linemen both sides of the ball, I guess, or linebackers. Like I said earlier, you can never have enough of those positions. I saw
Jackson,
but I really don't know where they're going to go in the first round because
yeah.
I think they're okay at almost every position. I think they're really just adding depth.
Right, and I just think that on what side of the ball they need depth is defense. I feel like defensive line might be something, whether that's an edge. But I see Jack Sawyer in the second round. They might have to trade up to get him because I bet you if they really want him, his grade isn't enough to use your first-round pick, I believe, for. But then, Brad Holmes has done his thing before. If he thinks he's going to be that player, he will. Like Gibbs, a lot of people said, I made a mistake going after Gibbs, and look at how good he is. By the way, Gibbs at WrestleMania. I
saw that.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was there. He was sitting pretty close to George Kittle. Yeah. But maybe.
No, don't get your hopes up.
Maybe talking a little bit.
No, don't get your hopes up. That's not happening.
I just thought
he's probably going to ask for too much money.
No. Well,
Lions already need to pay other players coming up.
Yeah, and we got a good tight end. We got a good tight end. But it was just like I just saw him and I was just like, oh.
Yep. Coming up later on the show today, Pistons allowed 21 straight points in the fourth quarter, and that's why they lost.
Yeah, I was talking to Andy about that. That sucks. They were almost trying to come back too, but just couldn't do it. But hey, you know what? That means that it's not. They didn't get embarrassed, and that was my big thing. I didn't want to see that they lost by like 30. So to see that they lost by 8, it was just
they're
like,
not
all right.
Memphis.
Yeah.
Nuggets Clippers was a great game. Saturday, game 1, overtime. Warriors Sunday night. That was a great game at Houston. And, of course, golf, RBC Heritage, Justin Thomas won in a playoff hole. NHL playoffs started. All game 1s so far in the hockey playoffs were won by at least 2 goals. Not super close games at all in hockey so far. Michigan's spring game happened Saturday. Bryce Underwood made his debut. He started.
He looked good?
I didn't watch, but I have his numbers here.
Oh, okay. I don't want to spoil myself, so I'll have to wait.
Quick JC and Spring Arbor baseball update. Tigers won 3-4 over the weekend, and they got the Padres and the Orioles both at home this week.
Padres will be a little tough. Hopefully, we'll handle the Orioles. I'll say we take 1 against the Padres, and we sweep the Orioles. How about that?
Sweep.
Wow. Calling it. Get the brooms out.
Well, we'll get into that when we come back here on JTV. Welcome back here on JTV. Thank you to Pataki Orthodontics, Grass Lake, Hillsdale, and Coldwater, PatakiOrtho.com. Jackson College baseball, we were back out there Thursday. A lot better weather than the first time we were there.
I agree. So remember how I talked about windburn last time and my face was just beet red? So I get home and then I look in the mirror and the first thing is just my face is beet red. Same thing the next day. So I couldn't get away from it because what's crazy is in that outfield, the wind is whipping. Even if it's not super cold, the wind is whipping
It's changing directions a lot, too.
It was blowing out to left field, right into the foul pole almost. And there's a few that could have been out, but just blew foul, so.
Right. Two great wins for JC. Of course, they won both of their both games of the doubleheader, and then they won both on Saturday too.
Wow,
After
look,
that,
good little run. And both of those that we saw, walk-offs. How about it?
Yeah, kinda. The second game, I
count that as a
totally
walk-off.
forgot about Mercy rule, but it was a walk, and it was 10 runs after 5 innings.
So that was technically a walk-off too. Not as an exciting walk-off as the last one, but still.
I forgot that they still did that in college too. I knew they did that in high school, 10 after 5 or 15 after 3. But so that's how the second game ended, and then the first game was what I expected coming in, because the game that they played against each other before that was just one 9-inning game. It was 7-5. JC won. It was back in late March. And St. Clair came in 3-18. Not good at all. Although I will say they were pretty good on the bats. You know, their offense is okay. But I thought what the difference of the game was, and we talked about it a lot. I mentioned a lot on the broadcast because it was pretty obvious. But just so many mental errors, fielding errors was a problem. High infield pop, dropped it. A lot of bounces in the infield, right? You know, grounding right to second or short, whoever. Passed him.
Yeah, I felt bad for that shortstop in the second game because there was a point, and I felt bad for the pitcher that was in there at that point, because there was a point where it's like, it was only like 3-0, I think, and everybody will see it in the highlights. I think it was like 3-0, and the ball did not leave the infield, and the score at the end of that inning ended up being like 8-0 at the end of that inning, because it was just so many mistakes at short, so many mistakes just elsewhere, walks, hit by pitches. It was a little brutal.
Yeah. The fielding errors is what made that different. And JC used their right field hill. Weird how the grass is laid out there to their advantage. A lot of weird bounces from infield out there.
Yeah.
Out to right field, too.
Yeah, for sure. And then the one thing that JC kept doing, they exploited a couple times, which I thought was so sick, was the double steal and stealing of home on the double steal. They got him twice with that exact same move.
Yep.
So.
Well, JC won both games, and shout out to our crew and our photography team and everybody who was at Jackson College
And
Thursday.
you and Max Fritz on the call.
Well, thank you. So if you missed the game, of course, you can check out photos online at jtv.tv. But here's a few highlights. Thanks to Minuteman Sewer and Drain for helping us bring you live baseball.
Long look down. That one barreled right. Oh, Bowers double play. Wow. And David Bowers snow-coned that ball. It almost got out of his glove. He actually wants to take a second look at it to make sure he had it.
Will he attack?
Miller throws the heat by Ramsey. That finishes things in the top of the first. Now the Jackson Jets hot bats, David, are going to get ready to light up the diamond.
There's 321 on the air.
That one, hard grounder. Will it get by the diving second baseman? It eats him up. He recovers and makes the out at first, but the run will score. So that one's going to go as a sacrifice grounder and a run score. Jackson freshman has to go out and shag the balls that go out into the left field and right field corners. Swinging strike 3 there, and that is their third out today. Having a low pitch count will certainly help things out. Oh, and he gets the call on the outside.
Wow.
Skippers will not be happy about the ump zone starting this game. He's got to be swinging. He cannot rely on the umpire to give him the call. And he looked for that one, tried to get it, could not. Carolden gets the strikeout. That ends things here in the second. Score remains. We're so far commanding the mound. That one hit deep out to left field. Montgomery can't track it down. It's over his head. He's going to run all the way to the track. That should score a run for the Skippers. Here he comes, rounding third. It's going to be a play at the plate. He dives in uncontested. Skippers tie things up after the Beltnick double. That one ripped barrel to the bat. It takes a weird hop off the grass. Right fielder able to corral it. It'll be a play at the plate again. Again uncontested. Skippers get another run across with Ramsey's RBI. Good play by Madison out there in right field, though, to corral that weird bounce. That one barreled. It's going back. Hey, Montgomery's on his horse. He's at the fence. No chance. That one is out of here for the Skippers. Flowers going to get to skip around the bases here as he rifled one out of left field, well over Montgomery's head, and just like that, the Skippers break things open and lead 4-1.
Well,
There we go. Miller gets out of the inning. You can see he's definitely frustrated with himself. He's led a lot of runs across the board. Skippers lead 5-1. Might try to get him to fish here. He doesn't, but it is called strike three down the outside. So that's strike three on Grindy, and that ends action here.
with the way that the zone's been called, so changes how you look at it.
But
That's
Miller
high
doesn't
swing.
need a zone on that one. 3 straight strikeouts. Miller's got his mojo back.
Last game, 313 on the year.
Nelson grounds that one to shortstop, and there's the force play at second base. That'll do things here in the fourth. Jets come close, but still trail by 4.
Despite that big third inning for St. Clair, exceptional.
That one flied high. Wind takes it foul. No trouble for the third baseman, Kopus. And that will conclude things here in the top of the 5th. Now we saw here the first time we broadcast live Jackson Jets baseball. Hard grounder gets past the first baseman. That will score 2 Jets, if not more. Here comes the first run. The ball dies in the grass. It's an errant throw in. 2 Jets across the plate off Grindy's bat. And now they only trail by 2. Anything hit remotely hard. Just like that. Will that drop in play? Right fielder ranging over. It does. It drops in play. That will score 1 run. Quick rifled into third. Keeps both Jets at first and second. But Kopus adds another RBI to his resume. And now the Jets only trail by 1. Here we go. Sends it in. Montgomery's going to dribble it up center. Handled by a shortstop. They get the force at second. And that'll conclude things in the 5th. The Jets rally stops a run short. Treams with the delivery. Gets it rifled right back in his face, out to center field. But right there to make the catch is Owen Zimmerman. And Zimmerman helps out his pitcher right there, ending. Great diving hit. Gets past the second baseman. That's going to plate 1 run. Here he comes, streaking around third. He's in safe. The first baseman didn't know what to do with it as Bowers capitalizes and moves into scoring position himself. Not only the hit, the 2 RBIs, but the base running wherewithal to get to second base.
Well, Bowers showing why he's our spotlight player to watch. Again, just past the glove, letting both those runners score. 2.
Leon fires another one in. That one is hooked out to left field. Will it drop? No, it gets past the head of the diving left fielder. It's going to score 1. Kopus thinks about 3 and thinks better of it. Stops with a 2-bagger RBI, his 3rd RBI on the day, and he smoked Taylor out there in left field. Leon kicks, fires. That one hit. It's going to be short out to right field. Center fielder ranging in on it, but it'll be the second baseman who calls him off and makes the play. Regis makes it. Jets come back. They now lead by 2, heading into the final inning of play right around the bend on JTV. That one ripped. It's going to find the gap. It might play to Skipper. Here comes Montgomery. He'll be too late, but they're going to try to get it to third. They might have him dead to rights. Oh, they had him, but he drops the ball. Bowers cannot squeeze it at third. They had him. And Treams fires looking for the strikeout. It's batted back up the middle. Center fielder racing forward. He makes the catch, but the run will come across for the Skippers. They tie things up here at 7. But that diving web gem of a catch by Owen Zimmerman out there in center saves it. Go ahead. No, what? We have a double play. They're saying the third baseman
he left the
early.
bag early. That's it.
So, here, okay, be headed that direction. Ball there will find the gap. It does. Speedy, oh, he falls in the base path. And he runs back safely. Rashad Franklin almost cost his team right there as he got put on skates. They check him. Throw it in. That one could do it. Will it drop in front of the right fielder? It does. It gets by him. He can't find the ball. Here comes Rashad Franklin streaking around third base. It'll be a play at the plate to decide the game. Rashad Franklin is in there standing up. And the Jackson Jets walk things off in the bottom of the seventh. They will win by 1 off the amazing feat of the speedy Rashad Franklin and the bat of Noah Atherholt. Great way. Barrios fires that one right down the middle. Strike 3 swinging. And that gets the Jets out of the top of the first with no harm done. Score still 0-0. Grindy barrels that one up. Yanks it to right field. Right fielder playing so far back, it takes him forever to come onto the ball. That'll easily score the man in scoring position. And the Jets are on the board first. And if you're wondering what the two players behind the fence are doing, is that one skied to right field. That one playable. He looks it into his glove. That will end things here in the first inning. I'll talk about Bellamo. Enzo Bellamo. Oh! Bellamo out with the ranging, jumping catch by Atherholt, the spotlight player of the game. He's turned it on here. Wonder if it was a carp or a mackerel. That one, though, Fanning. And that will end things here in the top of the third as David again reconsiders his life choices of broadcasting with me. Two outs. Man on third, and there it is. Van Ness gets him swinging. That ends things here in the second. And right there, just like that, top of the third has come, gone, and went.
Great throw by Jones behind the plate.
Every pickoff should count for a pitch attempt. As Bowers puts one back up the middle, the shortstop gloves it. There's one, and can't get it. So 1 out, but a run does come across the plate to score. So Bowers will be credited with the RBI. But I believe he does. It's low. Burkhart gets a bat on it. Does not eat up the second baseman. He makes the out, and just like that, we're through 3 here at Jackson College. That one hit right back up. Second baseman finds it into his chest, fires it over to first. They get the out. That'll end things here in the top of the fourth. I won't spoil it, but you definitely... Oh, they get the runner in a pickle. But Franklin looks like he's going to go home. It was a designed play, and they get the run, and the runner is safe at second. That worked to perfection for the Jets. An absolute disaster for the Skippers.
If Franklin came home there.
And as flies it in, that's a foul tip, strike 3. It hit the bat, found the catcher's mitt, and that ends things here in the fourth. Grounds it now to second base. Easily tosses over to first for the final out in the top of the fifth. The Jets maintain their 3-run lead, and no damage done. 2-1 count. He might get a ribby right here. And it eats up the shortstop. Fielding errors continue to plague St. Clair. That plate's 1. That plate's 2. Jets across the board. Burkhart gets 2 RBIs on a base hit. The Jets extend their lead, now leading by 5. Situation. Runner goes. And again, they fake out the Skippers. Great job to get down his Atherholt before he got his head taken off. And excuse me, that was Sebastian Nelson. Nelson, good job to slide down as the catcher is ranging over to try to make the... Only 2 outs, though, so Skipper is very close to getting out of this thing. But just again, the shortstop makes the poor decision, but he goes back to second. And he's able to get back to the bag. The shortstop was going to second base to cover the bag when the second baseman was going there. Miscommunication again leads to a run scored for the Jets. As the runner goes for third, it's a double steal. They're both in. The ball gets away. That'll be another run scored for the Jets on yet another error in the field. The catcher overshot the third baseman. Another run comes in for the Jets. The lead is now 8. That one hits him. That is a free run. 9 runs cross the plate. After Grindy takes one for the team, literally, and gets an RBI for it. Little pitch coming, all runners in motion with the 3-2, and that's another run walked in. Double-digit lead now for the Jets.
And that's it, because it's 10 runs after 5 innings.
That is, so we got cut very short here. Thank goodness we were able to get our 5th inning squeeze in, but that is a mercy rule here in college baseball. If you're leading by 10 through 5, that is it.
Welcome back here on JTV. NBA playoffs started over the weekend. Game 1 Saturday. Knicks over the Pistons, 123-112. 21 straight points for the Knicks in the second half. Jalen Duren, 3 fouls in the first half.
That's a problem. You can't do that. Can't do that.
Yeah, and Cade was their third or fourth leading scorer in that game, too.
Wow. Just wait for Cade to get hot.
Well, you're not going to win very many games if Cade is your third or fourth leading scorer. If Malik Beasley has almost doubled his points coming off the bench, which, by the way, Malik Beasley was one of the 3 finalists announced over the weekend for 6th Man of the Year.
Oh, nice.
No shock.
I assume like most improved would be Cade. I was seeing a lot of people saying.
Yeah, and I should have written this down. I know we have a packed show Wednesday, so next Monday we'll get to the awards.
Yeah.
But MVP, SGA, and Giannis and Nikola Jokic.
Yeah, I think it's not close though. It's SGA by a mile.
It should.
It's SGA, and then it's everybody else, and then Jokic.
It should, but you know how mainstream sports media likes to look at Denver and Jokic, and he's won it before, and Giannis, and the Thunder are still on the come up as far as teams that they like to talk about.
Yeah,
so.
I just think it's a runaway in my eyes, and it's a runaway
as
much as I think Jokic is probably the most valuable. If you that's when you get weird with like define most valuable. He is the most valuable player. But the problem is it'd be almost every year he'd win that award. It's kind of like my thing with Shohei. It's like if he's pitching and batting, how do you not say he's the most valuable because he's 2 players? I feel kind of the same way with Jokic, but SGA had the best season with one of the best teams. The best team,
the best team in the NBA.
So, and we'll see in the playoffs, but obviously it doesn't matter in the playoffs. You'll get the MVP still, but I think he'll definitely win it, much deserved, and we'll see if they can go all the way.
Well, based on how they played Game 1 against Memphis, I think so.
It's also Memphis.
Well, they won by 51. That was the largest playoff win in Thunder history and the largest Game 1 win in NBA history ever. And what also gets influenced by that is the team's regular season record. So, even though SGA, I think, by far is the best player in the NBA and they had the best record, because the Nuggets still had a good record and the Bucks still had a good record.
Yeah.
That's why I don't think it'll end up being a runaway as far as the voting. And that sucks. It's most valuable player for that season. It's not who was the best player on these 3 teams that were good in the regular season. But that's just always how it ends up being is regular season. Like, Cade... no, he wasn't better than SGA this season, but the 5 players who averaged 25 and 5, I don't know off the top of my head, but Luka, LeBron, Cade, SGA are the 4. So just going on that and other just stats categories, if you actually really go by player stats, individual success each year, which is how it should be, not by team record, then Jokic would probably win it every year, or if not, LeBron would be nominated every year, and Cade would have been nominated.
Do you think teams should play it like teams' record should play a part in it? Like if
absolutely
a player,
not.
Oh,
no.
So you think if a player is averaging, let's just say, I'm just going to bring out a number, 35, 8 and 8 on a bad team. I guess 35 is a little much, but 32, 8 and 8 on a bad team that doesn't make the playoffs, but he was the only good player and got the ball a lot and just did a lot, do you think he should win MVP if he has better numbers than everyone else, but the team doesn't make the playoffs?
I think. I mean, and I don't mean to sort of backtrack on what I just said. I think it depends.
Well, mine was a little bit of a extreme, being like they don't make the playoffs,
right.
you know. So you can easily
I think
say
it depends. 2007 LeBron carried that awful team, but they just kept feeding him the ball. That's why he averaged almost 30 a game or over 30.
Right. I mean, you can say
I
the
think
same
it
thing about
depends.
those Kobe years, bad Laker teams, but he was averaging 32, 33 a game. You know.
I think it depends on the situation. Team record, success, nothing should have nothing to do with that. But it's most valuable player, not, who is the best player on a good team.
Yeah.
But that's how it's always going to be. The numbers that Cade's put up the last couple of years, but because the Pistons have been so bad, he'll never be in discussion for MVP.
I think
maybe next year or the following
Pistons,
year, but
yeah, I think Pistons could get a few pieces and could maybe get a few more wins. I mean, if they're like top 3, which isn't out of the question, if they get a little bit better than they did this year, they get top 3 in the conference, then it's just like, hey, then I think it becomes, you don't have to be the best team. I'll say that. I don't think you have to be the number 1 team to have an MVP, but I think you have to be better. You have to be top 3 at least in your conference to be able to be considered MVP.
Right.
It's an interesting discussion, I think.
Game 2, Knicks and Pistons tonight, Monday night on TNT at 7:30.
Knicks are 7-point favorites in that.
Yep. Nuggets won Game 1 over the Clippers in overtime. That was a great game. Warriors pulled away late to defeat Houston. What's still weird is that the Rockets didn't really get a lot of attention this year.
And they were
they were the
number 3 seed?
They were the 2 seed in the West. But that's because they don't have any big names on their team. It's all the top, sports networks, outlets, etc. who only cover the teams with the household names.
And those are the ones that
Lakers
get the clicks.
the Lakers could miss the playoffs, but even though they have Luka and LeBron, they will still talk
the
about
Lakers.
them.
That's the Lakers effect as well.
But Houston, I mean, let's be real here. Houston's got Amen Thompson,
Don't they have Sengun, or is that a different team?
Sengun, Dylan Brooks, Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green.
They got a bunch of guys, but they don't have any stars.
Right. But that's why they didn't get any attention really this year, even though they were the number 2 seed. Just like the Pistons, besides Cade.
Yeah.
Which they only really started talking about him as of this last week or two. Just before that.
But at least they still have
Pistons.
a star, you could argue, the Pistons.
An all-star.
Yeah.
Right. Golf, PGA, playoff hole over the weekend at the RBC Heritage. Justin Thomas won it over Novak, -17. Next PGA tournament, the Byron Nelson, May 1st through 4th. And in the NHL playoffs, first-round series continue Monday night on ESPN and ESPN2. All game ones so far were won by at least 2 goals. So I was talking to my cousin yesterday. I think he's the person I know who has the most faith in the Red Wings to actually put something together.
Oh, good. He hasn't given up yet?
No, I think you and him are the only ones who haven't given up yet.
Well, I'm overly optimistic usually, so that's...
Well, he
about
was
those
too.
things. Okay, good.
So who do you like though in this? Right now in the hockey playoffs. Barkley, by the way, was on TNT's NHL studio crew a few days ago. Barkley on hockey, and he did his bracket, and he had an all-Canadian final, Edmonton-Toronto.
Oh, that's interesting. I could see potentially Edmonton being able to get in there. I'll just go with who I think is probably the favorite. I'll go with Colorado, but this year, unlike other years, I feel like it's kind of open to where like anybody can win this thing. I'm not like
So
overly.
last year was what, Edmonton and Florida Panthers?
Yeah. And it's just like I don't. You could see Edmonton going back, and they have the stars to do it. But like something's telling me Colorado. But I think either
He
of
had
those teams are good
Edmonton
ones.
over the Avalanche, and then Toronto. I forget who his fourth team was, losing to Toronto in the semi or the.
Hopefully, I eat my words, but Toronto always chokes. I feel like they always choke, so that's why I just can't pick Toronto.
When's the last time, or maybe we haven't had a time ever? Has there ever been a time where we had an all-Canadian final, like as of recent years?
Nothing I can think of, but my hockey knowledge is mainly early 2000s and before. But I will look at that and see if there's any.
Well, we have a break to take, so we can do
perfect.
that
I can look at that during the break.
We have that during the commercial break. When we come back, Michigan football, spring game, JC Spring Arbor baseball update, and Tigers 3-4 over the weekend. So we'll get to that when we wrap up the show. We'll be right back. Welcome back here on JTV. Thanks to the Insurance Circle agency, myinsuranccircle.com, 269-200-2905. Michigan spring game over the weekend. Blue defeated Maize 17-0.
Which? Do you know which team Underwood was on?
Yeah, Blue.
Okay.
And Jaden Davis was the starter for Maize, which usually the two starters for the spring game is an indication of what's going to happen, because the Fresno State quarterback, Mikey Keene, who played at the Big House week 1 last year, who's a pretty good quarterback, he transferred to Michigan. There's Denegal. Yeah, we knew he wasn't going to start, but Mikey Keene. And then there's Jaden Davis and Bryce Underwood.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bryce Underwood's going to start, but who's going to be that QB2?
That's right.
So I think it's going to be Jaden Davis based on the spring game. Usually that's a big indicator. Bryce Underwood, 12 of 26 for 187 and a touchdown.
It's not terrible for your first time out there.
Right, for being a true freshman.
Yeah.
You've really only had a couple practices with them at the bowl game. Besides that, you haven't even played yet.
Right.
Put on the uniform for them. So that's a very good sign early on. Against the Michigan defense, who's lost a lot over the last couple of years, who, with the new head coach, it's really these first couple of years that Michigan's going through right now is really just rebuilding, starting the recruiting over again, and building it back up.
And you have them winning the Big Ten championship this year. You called it. You said that's happening.
said the great Bryce Underwood will get Michigan back to where they were and win the Big Ten. Because I don't see Ohio State being in it.
You don't?
No, because they're losing Judkins, Ibuka, maybe Will Howard, and Henderson.
Sawyer.
And Jack Sawyer.
Yeah.
And I think somebody else on the defense, too. So.
He's calling it. He's calling
And
a
then
shot.
Penn State's losing Drew Aller. No, Drew Aller's staying, but Tyler Warren. And who knows when their coach is going to get fired.
Well, I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
I hope so too. But somebody posted one clip of Bryce throwing a horrible pass at the start of the game that was a pick, almost returned for a pick six. They didn't because it was 17-0. But one Buckeye Twitter page posted the one clip and then turned it into a whole, propaganda for Ohio State.
That's tribalism for you.
Yep. Not a good tribal either.
No, not a good tribe. Real quick before we move on to anything else, I do have that Stanley Cup final. The last time there were two Canadians in there. Montreal Canadiens. Or no, I'm sorry. Wait. That was the last time they won a championship. It was 1989. Calgary Flames and Montreal Canadiens. So all the way back in 1989, and then the last time that a Canadian team won was 93, being the Canadiens. So it's been a long time. So we're due for that eventually. Is this the year? Or is Colorado going to be one of those teams that kind of spoils it?
Well, Edmonton made the final last year, lost. I believe it went to 7 games. 6 or
Yep.
7. Florida won it all last year and lost 2 years ago.
Yep.
So we'll see.
Yeah.
JC and Spring Arbor baseball update. Of course, you just saw the highlights earlier in the show. JC won both games of the doubleheader Thursday, and they won both games at St. Clair on Saturday. So now they've won 7 of their last 8. They've turned it around, and they're 19-16. And Spring Arbor, they've lost 3 of their last 4, but they're 26-20. Just 4 games left in the regular season, all 4 on the road. Doubleheader Thursday and a doubleheader on Friday. And in MLB baseball, Tigers won 3 of 4 over the weekend against Kansas City. They're now 13-9, first in the AL Central. We had angry Scooble over the weekend.
Heck yeah, and I'll say this. I consider that record to actually be 13-6-3 because those 3 games in LA do not count. It's against LA, for crying out loud. And we played so well.
But are we going to say that about every single game this season for the Dodgers, for any team?
No, just because it was just the beginning of the year, and I don't want to count those games. I mean, if you want to look at like true record for how well we played those games, and we would have beaten 28 other teams, it's just like for how well we were. So that's why it's like I look at that record and it's like I almost say we're better than 13-9.
Monday through Wednesday this week at home against the Padres. And then Friday through Sunday this weekend at home against the Orioles. Wednesday's game, tonight, Monday, is on FS1.
Another FS1, huh?
Which, by the way, Thursday night's game, the first game against the Royals, was on FS1.
Mm-hmm.
I turned it on after I got home. We were at JC. And it's in Detroit. It's on a Fox channel. And Benetti's not doing the game.
Yeah, but I'm not surprised. Like what I kind of texted you, it's like technically he's the home announcer, so they need to kind of have like an impartial third party announcer because it's on
he
national
works,
television.
But he's one of the national announcers for Fox.
Yeah, but that's just what I think they probably did. Was like, hey, you can't really be on this game because we don't want the other side to be like, hey, why did they get their home announcer? That's the only thing I can think of.
But to be fair, playoff games that have been on ESPN before. Why is Michael Kay, who's awful, by the way, why is Michael Kay doing Yankees games? And then he did Houston-Detroit last year, the wild card.
That's right.
And it was all Houston Homer broadcast. Why is Michael Kay doing national games? Why is he doing any games? But why is he doing national games?
I was surprised when I saw that he was announcing. Yeah, I was very surprised. You know who was awesome in playoff baseball was Elevator Ernie. He was great for TBS. I don't know if he's still doing it, but he was awesome.
I think he just does studio now, not play-by-play.
See, I thought his play-by-play work was great in previous years. That's like the 2010s, like I just prime time him doing like, wild card games and stuff like that. It was good.
Yep. So Monday through Wednesday. So tonight's game FS1, Wednesday's game, and then all 3 games against the Orioles are going to be on, of course, FanDuel, but MLB Network.
And I will be at the Orioles game on Saturday.
Nice.
So go Tigers. Go Tigers.
Yep. And either Friday or Saturday, second round, and after that, we'll see if Micah gets drafted. So
yeah, I can't wait to see that.
Again, before we go, subscribe to JTV Sports. Check out all of our ORS photo galleries. Thanks to Orthopedic Rehab Specialists for the photo galleries. And Minuteman Sewer and Drain, helping us bring you all the high school sports and college sports. Here on JTV in the Center for Family Health Daily Scoreboard. So thanks to everybody and our photographers and our great sports staff. So JTV.tv. Always. So that's going to do it for us today. That's Adam. I'm David. Thank you to the Insurance Circle Agency and Pataki Orthodontics. And we'll talk to Micah again on Wednesday's show. So we'll see you then.
Bye-bye.